Today on Ask the Trainer, I've got a question from Anthony in Boston, and he asks, how do you set up and configure a FlowStation? There's a little bit to that, so we're going to break that down into a few pieces. So first of all, let's recap what a FlowStation can do. A FlowStation is a flow management controller that allows multiple controllers to share water resources. So that could be pumps, tanks, water meters, anything like that. It can also monitor flow. It can maximize the number of valves and controllers that all operate at once across an entire system. It allows submains. It allows main-to-main configurations, and it also allows bypass configurations all over a network of up to 20 different base station 3200 controllers. This does not apply to the base station 1000 controller, though. So the first step that you're going to be doing is install the hardware. So you're going to install the cabinets for the base station 3200s. You're going to install the FlowStation cabinet, and you're going to install the master valve, the flow sensor, and the pressure components, all the flow measuring devices. Now that FlowStation does not necessarily need to be next to a controller. It can be anywhere on the site. For practical purposes, you're probably going to put it near a power supply and maybe near another controller so you can share a communication cable and manage that one. So then the next step that you're going to do is to set up a communication method for each device. That could be over a local area network or a wide area network, doesn't really matter. And to recap, those communication methods are Ethernet cable or an Ethernet connection, Wi-Fi, cell connection works, Ethernet radio with a gateway as well. All those methods that work for communicating for either the 3200 or the FlowStation. Now, your task then is to gather information. So you want to know about the water source capacity. And if you have multiple water sources, what's the capacity for each one? What is the control point information? What's the size of all the devices in that one? What's the capacity on that one? And then what's the mainline layout and the sizing, and how does everything fit together? So, and the drawings are fantastic for that. Just a simple drawing. You don't have to be an artist or a designer on that one, but a simple drawing that you can share with us. After that, you're going to collect that information. You've done your basic installation, collected information, and you're going to contact baseline support. Do it either via email or phone. And then they're going to work with you on the final configuration. So there's different methods. One method they'll be using if you're standalone and you're not communicating outside of your site, or if you're using cloud networking, communicating outside of your site, there's a different method on that one. Ultimately, once that communication is set up and it's configured, the FlowStation will manage the water sources. It will manage those control points, and it will manage those main lines for the entire network. A great resource to double check some of the stuff is the FlowStation user guide that's shipped with the FlowStation controller, or it's available at baselinesystems.com at the support tab. Lots of really good information in that manual that's worth reading. So the second question today on Ask the Trainer comes from a user in Phoenix, and they said, I have a program with a 5 a.m. start time and 3 hours of runtime, but the program wasn't done when I got on site at 9:30 a.m. That's over 4 hours. What happened? Well, what's great is you sent me a screenshot with this one, so now I could see what's going on. So let me jump into my Base Manager account, and I'll show you what I mocked up that mimics what you did. So take a look at that. So here we can see all the way through zone 56, we've got runtime. So those runtimes do add up to the 3 hours if we were to add up all those runtimes. So that definitely is accurate. We've got our 5 a.m. start time right down in here. So that's accurate as well. The runtime of 3 hours and the start at 5 a.m., technically it should be done at 8 o'clock. That's 3 hours. However, if we look a little bit lower here, we've got this water window. In this water window, you have closed your water window at 7:59. So it can run through, as soon as it hits the stroke of 8 a.m., the water window closes. And what a water window does is it tells the program when it's allowed to water or when it's not allowed to water. So it tells it when it can water, when it cannot water. Now, your water window was closed between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., right? So that middle of the day, it was absolutely closed and nothing could water. Your irrigation system was running. It came across the water window closed, and the controller paused your watering. It didn't stop it, it paused it. And a pause means that it will resume as soon as the condition changes. So when you came on site at 9:30, the watering was not stopped, it was paused, and you didn't recognize that. So it just waited, and you probably didn't even notice that when the water window opened back up at 7 p.m. that night, it resumed and finished up that last hour of watering. So a water window will pause the watering and then allow it to pick back up later on. So now, two things you can do about that one is you can give yourself more time on the water window. So close out the water window at 8 or 9 a.m. That's one option. Or the other one is just let it do its thing. Just know that if you decided on your site that watering between the middle of the day, between 7 and 7, is unacceptable because somebody might get wet, because there's other water restrictions, so whatever it is, leave that in place and just let it pause its watering, and don't worry so much about that. So water windows are really valuable in preventing watering when you shouldn't, but allowing water when you can, but it will override a start time. Have a question for me? Click the link in the description and go to hydropoint.com/askthetrainer to submit your question.